friends, welcome to our show, Ghosts R N.E.A.R, where we discuss and actively explore paranormal phenomena. I am your host, Keith Johnson, the co-founder of New England Anomalies Research. With me is my co-host and co-founder,
Sandra Johnson. Hello.
Carl Johnson.
Lana Brock.
and you may remember Lana on a previous episode of Ghosts R N.E.A.R, where you spoke about your own experience with the preternatural disturbance you had in your home, so you are no stranger to the topic we're going to be discussing. We're actually going to be discussing the topic of demonic possession, and we're going to be showing footage of what we experienced was possibly an authentic case of demonic possession, a case we worked on when we were with the Atlantic Paranormal Society, of course TAPS, that became famous on the TV series Ghost Hunters. This began shortly before the TV series, however. It was January of 2004, and our friends formerly of Maine Paranormal, Bill and Nancy Warshall, had called us on a case in Lewiston, Maine. It was an older woman, her name was Marguerite, and she was allegedly going under spates of demonic possession. This had been happening for some time. And so we were called in to do a house blessing to kind of null the activity that had been going on. Now, Marguerite had told us that it hadn't happened, she hadn't gone under possession for a couple of weeks, so she doubted very much it would happen that night. But we were there with Sandra and I, and the Warshalls, of course, Brian Hanwar, and Carl, you came in on that months later when it was actually being filmed for the first season of Ghost Hunters.
Yes, I think we nicknamed this situation the Lost Possession episode.
The episode that never aired, yes.
That's right. The funny thing that happened was right before it was supposed to be aired, they had the intro and everything when that episode of Ghost Hunters started, and they showed previews of the possession episode, and then it wasn't aired. They showed a different episode.
Yeah, the clients themselves were glued to the television. Even they thought the show was going to air.
Kind of felt bad for them, yes.
Yes.
Of course, Keith and I were in that show, featured as the demonologists the first two seasons. That episode just never made it.
Right.
But fortunately, the first time that we made the trip, I actually filmed quite a bit of footage around what was happening in this case.
Exactly, exactly. Now, Lana, of course, being no stranger to this type of preternatural activity, could you explain a little about demonic possession?
Well, I believe that demons, they are not impartial or partial to anything. They don't care about what your religion is, and they go where they're open. If someone is like an open receiver or empty vessel, someone they can break down, and they may meet a battle with a person, okay, but in some cases it's easy for them to take over the oppressed. And that's part of oppression is getting them beat down.
Yes.
And so,
Exactly, exactly. There's the infestation stage, there's the oppression stage, which is kind of like a brainwashing process to wear down the person's resistance. And of course, when the person is worn down enough, the invading spirit can enter. Of course, some people actually invite spirits in, not always realizing what they've been doing. But the subject here, she was a devout Catholic, and she was of French-Canadian descent. Now, we came to do that house blessing, and she didn't think she would go under possession while we were there, but while we were doing the house blessing, it seemed to instigate the demonic presence to come forth.
I thought that was very interesting. When we talk about this case, we call it an alleged possession, but I found it interesting when, you and Brian were in the basement and I was filming you doing the blessing and clearing of that area, and that seemed to be what triggered the first episode that we witnessed.
And now, here is some actual investigation footage from Lewiston, Maine, while we were there.
Light is extremely bright. Complain if it bothers you.
That little light is bright.
Mm-hmm.
That picture in the corner. Steve, over here, there. Hold his arm around her.
We gotta check something, so I'm gonna check our video cameras real quick. Go ahead and then out of here. Located here at Lewiston, Maine, January 4th, 2004.
Okay.
That's it. Go ahead. You gotta watch.
Yeah, tell them about what happens during the transit, Margaret.
You take one right like this a lot?
So, or what you remember anyway. I know you don't remember all of that.
I know I get mad. I don't know, I think Nancy, you remember more than I do.
You know one thing I just realized?
What's that?
She takes her glasses off.
Oh.
Are you?
Yes.
And why? I noticed that I cried a lot.
Yes.
And why? I didn't feel like crying.
Very distraught.
How much, do you know when it's about to happen?
Well, yeah, the back of my neck here hurt. Really hurt. And I put down my head. And then
Wrong station.
when
Don't get nothing on it.
I opened my eyes, then I stopped. And in time, I called the priest because he didn't know what to do.
No?
The priest had a glass of this much worth of holy water, and I go and I take his glass and I drink it.
Oh, really?
And all
She
upset.
says, "Well, don't drink that."
Too late.
And I get mad, but I talk in language that nobody understands. Sometimes it'll be French, almost to sound like you were talking a little bit there. I don't know if it's Indian. Did you ever find out? Can you make something out of it?
It wasn't nice. There was a
You were
lot.
here when she did that?
Yeah, I recorded it.
Yeah?
Because I wanted to play it back afterwards and find out if we could find out anything. Her voice gets very deep, very, very growly. Like, if you ask her anything, she screaming
I know, I do feel like saying that.
is the answer. So it's kind of hard to understand.
Goes along, I don't know, I don't remember too much. All I know is I talked to my sister came next to me and she was all rugby with her Rosie. And I looked at her and I said, "Rrrr." And she said, "I'm getting out of here." She says, "Look at her eyes." I don't know what my eyes, do you know what my eyes look like?
She's got dark eyes, but I mean, really, really black and straight, contorted, very.
I've got 3 pictures that my son took while I was in there. You guys want to see it?
Sure.
Get the hell out of here.
I started to hold on to it.
You're too good to me, that's what they run.
You have very pretty eyes naturally.
They're not so nice when I start doing it.
But her glasses come on.
Yeah.
I just realized that. That just kind of struck me today. I was like, oh, you're wearing your glasses again. But both times, you took your glasses off at some point.
I don't know what that means.
Because see, I've never seen you take your glasses off before.
Because,
Yeah, you're not wearing glasses in any of the pictures, I noticed.
no. But this one looks like I can't believe that I will look like I got a
Now,
red
which time was
face.
this, Leonard? Was this the very
You
first
was, the
time?
last time you were here.
Oh, okay.
Remember, we said we're taking
Yeah.
pictures?
Now, the priest blessed the house twice, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Downstairs, the cellar and everything, but
I never heard nobody screech like that before.
it was me that was doing it, I guess.
Wow.
What do you think it is,
Yeah?
in your opinion?
Woman that was last week that came down to where they, like, ESP.
Psychic, yeah.
Psychic, yes. And she told Cricket, she says, there's a man that buried in your cellar. And she said his name is Edward. So she says he's attached to you. Why, I don't know. But she said he died with, I don't know what to say, something wrong with his lung. And when it happened, you noticed that I coughed a lot.
Yes, Nancy mentioned that.
I coughed and coughed and coughed. But I don't.
But normally she doesn't. She just says she's fine. She's not congested. She's not. She doesn't have a chest problem. You know, she doesn't have any history of heart or chest problems.
This is just a little weird.
But that's what Vicky said. But what do you think is going on? What is your thought about it?
Suffocate and he needs, no, you can't do it,
But beyond,
okay.
okay, but beyond Edward, okay, what do you yourself think is going on?
Well, the first time when I heard walking in front of the bathroom upstairs, boy, he must have had iron shoes. It was really loud, and 3 steps this way, and then 3 steps that way, and that was it. Then me, my son, and the girlfriend stayed here. All of a sudden, we heard about, I'd say 100 pots and pans that was being tossed in the air to fall on the floor. So we told Lisa, hey Lisa, you go find out what's going on there. There was nothing there. And my pots and pans, they're right on the floor. The counter is right, the floor. And Clifford here sometimes the stair crack. Like I said, that something must have pushed me, because I woke up to go to the bathroom, and I sat a while on the edge of the bed, and I put down my head like that, and then when I looked up my head, I didn't feel anything, but I know it was a push, because it was so hard. I hit his bony legs there and back of my head. And boy, I had a headache and a neck hurt for a week. And then another time, I felt I was half asleep, but not quite asleep in the way I felt like something was holding me up and dropped. And the back of my head, it's like somebody had a iron bar and hit me the back of my head, but where my bed was, if I would have fallen off the bed, there was no way I could have hit my head. And I didn't hurt anywhere else. I just opened my eyes and said, what am I doing on the floor? So, I don't know. Some of them must be evil or something like to her. So, I don't know. And I don't know why I do that. I don't know if there's, then that time he wasn't here, was quicker. And we were talking, you were talking again about the cellar and everything. And I started doing it. Not as bad. So he asked me, who are you? And he finally got out of me. I said, Edward. He said, Edward who? He said, you got a last name. And, I stayed about 5 minutes. He said, go on. I said, Pelletier. And he asked, he said, how old are you? And I was talking in French. I said,
Excuse me, do you speak French normally?
I said,
But not every day though,
Right.
right? When just around the house with you and
they all talk
English,
French, except Lisa. In French, I said, Catherine. He said, man, say it again, I don't understand. I said, A and a 0. Oh, if you're 80, so I don't know if you died at 80. I don't know if those kids that was playing devil downstairs went to the cemetery and got him out of there and buried him down the cellar. That's what my son thinks. And he got a little bit of me as piece of it. He says, look, in the corner, it's not the same, it's higher.
Yeah.
It's got the big four. He would have had just the bones anyways. He could have brought it there and who knows what he did. He buried him there and then fixed it. Because I don't know. I said somebody should get a shovel and a pick and dig in there. Because I don't know, it's strange.
Your dad would probably be
But why pick on me? I don't know. There's some say it's because I'm stronger. I don't know. I believe a lot in I'm Catholic and I believe a lot in it. Now, I don't know if that is or not, but I like to know who's down there and who's doing it. And I don't think he's alone. That woman that talked to Clifford, she said there's not only one in there. She said there's a lot. So he must have opened the door and there's a bunch that came in. And somehow the door is closed. So I don't know. I went downstairs with this here. And got into the guy. It's not mine, but she let me have it. That was used on the Exorcist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was blessed by the Pope and,
That's beautiful.
yes, she said that the one that was possessed, I'm not possessed because I don't stay like that. After a while, we prayed, I come out of it. But this was used like you see in The Exorcist movie there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was used for something like that.
exorcism.
Yeah, exorcism. Yeah, so
How old is that?
this is,
Yes.
oh God, I don't know. Well, maybe.
Very, very beautiful. It's got some weight to it,
Oh,
too.
yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, I'm not
It's heavy.
with that. I don't think I'll do mine. That's fine tonight. I believe, and with her, I don't think, this year, I believe it. And I went downstairs with it, and I told them, hey, you gotta get out of here. And nothing happened. So
After you brought the crucifix down there, did it send you into a trance again?
no. No. I wasn't there. I think it was last week.
Last week.
But it didn't stay long because you wasn't here.
It was somewhere around the 23rd, I think.
And in my mind, I was thinking, if somebody would pray and get me out of it. But you were not here, so it could, I would say, pray. I got out of it, but I stayed. Clifford used to tell me, he said, "Now, since this happened," he says, "your eyes look mean." And when I went upstairs, I was still a little angry. And I looked in the mirror, and my eyes was not like it used to be. It wasn't more like there. You know. But the next day, I felt better. I said, Clifford, for God's sake, when you see me doing that, pray to do something. I think that's what gets me out of it. Because you know, the priest, when he came, Joe, I'm all right. He said, "You're all right now?" I said, "I think so." So he leaves. As soon as he leaves, I start over again. So I said it didn't do much good, even if I drank that glass of holy water. So, and they tell me, I said, "Yeah, they put oil in there." I said, "Oh, my God."
Oh, goodness.
You holy water. So I think the priest, he wasn't staying next to me. I noticed he was a little further away. And
He looked like he was scared.
he didn't, I haven't heard from him yet. Since
I
then.
know. We haven't either.
So I don't know. But I can see, it's a good thing Clifford took this because I was mad at him there.
Mm-hmm.
Clifford wanted to take more pictures, and he didn't want to, but I was saying, leave him alone, leave him alone.
When I took a picture of her, because I wasn't sure what would happen, I didn't want her to lunge out of the chair or anything. I took a picture and just that, like, real mean yelling at me, like, like just giving you the, I don't know what exactly she said, but it was like, it was definitely a don't do that again type deal.
Right.
But I don't look like myself.
No, not at all.
And I talk, I don't know if it's Indian, but you never found what kind of things that I say.
There was a lot of garble. A lot of it was garbled. It was hard to understand at all.
Why? This, and then they asked me, talk English, and I answer in French. I can't. Can't not talk English. Then I start those words, and then, And when I talk French, it's mostly like, yeah, the French there, I would say it different. But that's why, like,
To the dialect?
like high class French as opposed to,
Like Korea?
oh, he must be French. And what else, I don't know. Because, now, I don't know, but why I do those talking. And I'm mad, and I seem to know what the heck I'm saying, but I don't know.
I'm very sorry to hear it's been happening.
Oh, and I'm always afraid that if he goes inside, he's gonna stay there. Because I don't want to look like this all the time. I use this one here. Now, someone was holding my hand there. So that must have been Bill, and that's why his hand was hurting.
That was Bill, yeah.
I don't
Because I was next to you, the second.
But that didn't stop. No way, I'm not gonna do it again. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, he's just relaxing.
Relaxing.
Yeah.
Is that long
He's a
ride?
trooper for coming out tonight, I tell you. Yes, he wasn't feeling well at all.
Have a good coffee there.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll ever happen again. Probably as long as I'm gonna have that with me, I probably won't.
Well, if you'd like, I can say some prayers in this house and do a blessing of my own.
Well, I mean, it's not gonna hurt.
I'm not a,
Talk to it.
I'm not a clergy person, but simply a believer.
Yeah, well, that's fine with me. And anytime anybody who wants to pray, I am there. You're very welcome to do it. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
You know, to bless the basement, perhaps say some prayers in there, and then in here as well too, with your permission.
Yeah.
All right.
This concludes part 1 of our possession episode. Thank you for being with us. Part 2 will continue on an upcoming episode of Ghosts R N.E.A.R. Good night.
Night.